being here. Each person in this room had a unique and intimate and special relationship with my mother. And I believe that each one of you felt just as loved and just as valued and just as treasured as I did. I also know that she could be a total pain in the butt. So we're sharing that together as well. But I thank you for being here. It's overwhelming to see so many people in one room that changed my mom and that my mom changed them. So thank you for that. We learn a lot from our parents, and our parents learn a lot from us. Children teach their parents just as much as their parents teach their children. And I know that she learned from each of us and that we learned from her. And I'm so grateful for that, because her memory and those lessons that she taught us will live with us, and we will be able to share those with others in the world. One thing that's become very apparent to me over the last few weeks is just how much my dad loved my mom. They didn't live their relationship outwardly. It wasn't very often that you would see my mom fall into my dad's arms or to do anything other than just pinch him and tease him, because they have their own unique way of showing love. But one thing that has become very, very apparent to me is how much he loved her. And for that, I am so grateful. I am grateful to know that she lived in a home and was in a marriage with somebody who adored and worshipped her. And it's not something I saw every day, but I see it very apparently now. And I'm very thankful for that. Henry David Thoreau once said, "The mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation and go to the grave with a song still in them." This observation is translated to the ideology that most people live an empty life, caused by unfulfilling work, lack of leisure time, and misplaced values. Value placed only on money, possessions, and accolades. A life that was spent wasted, focusing on stupid worries and regrets. That was not my mother. My mother was a beautiful human being. She lived her life completely, and she lived it fully. She enjoyed living. She treasured her life. She woke up every day with joy and purpose. She lived deliberately. She had an incredible desire to live and to enjoy the beauty of the earth. She enjoyed exploring, whether on the water or elbow deep in manure. She did it all with an infectious smile and a contagious laugh. In her home hangs a plaque entitled "The Secret to Happiness," which reads, "The secret to happiness God never hid from us, because everything we need to be happy, He placed in the palm of our hands. If you look there and see nothing, look again, for in them lies the handshake of a good friend, the wear and tear of a job well done, and the joy that is felt when helping others, and the warmth that comes from holding the ones you love." This quote emulates the person that my mother strove to be. She worked hard to be a good friend. She invested in people, even the one in Kohl's. And she genuinely cared about their welfare. She was the hardest working person I have ever met, and took physical labor to a whole new level. Don't get me wrong, that hard work was often preceded by a statement, "Screw it, I'll do it myself." But once she was determined, there was no stopping her. She was a service-oriented woman who loved to do kind things for others, and she was a devoted wife, mother, friend, gunda, neighbor, companion, housekeeper, landscaper, horse rider, donkey raiser, giraffe collector, avid reader, and adventurer. Each of us knew our own personal version of who she was. And each of us will mourn this loss in a completely different way. For each of us, she had a role and a purpose, and she treated each of her relationships individually with care and consideration. She was truly and quite literally the center of our family. It has and probably always will revolve around her. Her greatest fear in life was death. I never came to understand why this was, but I do know that she fought every day to have just one more day. Because that's who she was. She lived a life of intention. She never took one single day for granted. As we honor my mother today, I would ask one thing from you. That you spend your life living. That you show up for your family and your friends. That you create the kind of memories that people will talk about and remember when you are gone. That you love your neighbor and your enemy. That you live a life of joy. It's unlikely that someone will stand up at your funeral and talk about how many promotions you got, how many cars you owned, or how much money was in your bank account. They will reflect on the impact and the mark that you left on their lives. My mother left a huge mark on ours. A task that we must now bind together. My mother left a huge mark on our lives. For most of us, she was the main weaver in the tapestry of our lives. A task we must now bind together to finish ourselves. We have no guarantees as to the number of days we will be on this earth, but we do have a choice in what we do with them. I would ask that you live like my mother did. Truly, deeply live, and leave no song left in you.
I'd like to invite Doug and Bella up to read a poem written by Sandra's daughter, Lisa.
Hello everyone. Mine's not as long, of course, as everybody else's. It's just a quick poem that'll help me write. So it says, hello everyone. My name's Doug. I'm one of Sandy's son-in-laws. I'm married to Lisa, right there in the little row there. This is our daughter Bella. Sandy. Sandy preferred as cherished, and Danny said to be called Gunda to all the grandkids. And Bella, of course, is the grandbaby and the youngest. So although she did not get the most years with Gunda, the one she did have, she will cherish and love forever. So I wrote the poem with Bella's help, how I was feeling at the time, and that Sandy, sorry, you can't see my own writing. Sandy had such an impact on so many lives, and how she would brighten your day when you were in her presence. You would be truly missed by all and never forgotten. We love you. And here's the poem. Sandy, the beautiful sun that shines so bright, the joy you gave so full of light, the smiles you shared because of how much you cared, and the love you showed to each of us that just glowed. To have you with us each and every day and show us how wonderful the power of laughter would brighten each day. As the time would go on, you would guide us in a special way that we could see with hope and pray. The beautiful sun that shines so bright and the joy you gave so full of light. You have been the strong one when the time was done to release you from your body and let your soul run free, to fly high in the sky where you could always be, among the ones you love, to look down on us and see, on the guidance you gave, and that love could be whatever you make it, and pass it on to your loved ones and beyond. The beautiful sun that shines so bright, the joy you gave, so full of life. Thank you.
Thank you. This time I'd like to open it up if anyone